Good morning, and thank you for choosing NYNJPA Weather as your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. This morning we have high pressure slowly giving away into the Atlantic and a cold front that's approaching from the eastern Great Lakes. Now this cold front is going to have the potential to produce some strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon. However, I don't think the threat's going to be as impressive over the northern Mid-Atlantic as it will be over New England and parts of the central and northern Hudson Valley. Let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture. The water vapor shows a very dynamic disturbance that is sitting over the central Great Lakes. The blue line there is the polar jet stream that is lifted well to the north, and the green is the subtropical jet stream that is basically driving this disturbance. Now this disturbance does have polar origins, and as a result it is rather dynamic. However, notice the ridge that is remaining over the east coast. This ridge is basically forcing this disturbance to move northeast rather than east. And that's a big deal because that means that the best dynamics and the best lifting is going to move from the central Ohio Valley towards the central Hudson Valley. So we're going to be on the southern periphery of this disturbance, and yeah, there's still going to be a potential for strong to severe thunderstorms this afternoon, but I think that the threat's going to be isolated. Because of the strong jet dynamics with this disturbance, though, there will be a potential for some wind shear, and with wind shear brings the threat of strong wind gusts and thunderstorms that do develop, and yes, even an isolated tornado. This disturbance will exit quickly by this evening, and by tonight high pressure will build in once again. But it looks like we have some trouble coming on for the weekend. Now up through Saturday afternoon, the high pressure system that is sitting off the east coast will strengthen, and the upper level ridge associated with that high pressure system will also strengthen. That's very important to keep an eye on. The reason why is because the strength of that ridge is going to prevent this disturbance that is diving down through the northern plains from moving too far to the east. And we'll see what impacts that'll have in just a few moments, but I just want to also bring up the fact that with this high pressure center sitting off the east coast, what we will have is a continuous moderation in temperatures. Look for our highs to be well above normal for the rest of the week. In fact, by Friday and Saturday afternoon, temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 80s, and more like summer-like conditions than anything that we've seen over the past 15 days. So it's definitely going to certainly warm up. But because of that strong ridge, this disturbance is going to start to dive south. But instead of moving towards the mid-Atlantic coast like what we were thinking yesterday, it's going to be focused more towards the Tennessee River Valley, as we'll see in the next forecast map. By Sunday evening, notice the ridge is off the east coast, but still rather strong. We have our upper level low over the Tennessee and Mississippi River Valley. Now, I think on this model guidance, which by the way is the European model guidance from the Penn State EWAL website, excellent website, I think this upper level low is forecast a little bit too far west. I think it's going to be closer towards the Tennessee River Valley, and we're going to have a stronger flow from the Atlantic. Now, because the upper level low is positioned further west than what was thought yesterday, the surface features are also going to be slightly different. Let's take a look at that. At the surface, we're starting to get an area low pressure develop, but it's going to be further west. It's going to be more towards Kentucky and Tennessee. But we're still going to have a cold front that's going to be stalled off the east coast, and we have a high pressure system that is centered over Maine, driving an easterly wind into the northern Mid-Atlantic. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look at 850 millibars. At 850 millibars, you can see that we have a lot of moisture coming in from the Atlantic, and that's going to keep the threat of overcast skies and also scattered showers. So while the rainfall is not going to be as impressive, there's still going to be showers hanging around on Sunday, and we can see that continuing on into Monday. By Monday night, a few interesting features are developing here. Our southeast ridge holds strong. It may be something to keep an eye on for the winter. Meanwhile, our disturbance that is over the Tennessee River Valley starts to lift northeast because of a strong disturbance that's also from the polar jet stream diving towards the Great Lakes. What does that mean for the surface? At the surface, our area low pressure starts to develop. Now, on the European model guidance, it takes the low through the Ohio Valley. Again, I think it's going to be a little bit further south, and I think it will cut through West Virginia. But still, the results are the same. We still have an easterly wind. We Still going to have moisture advection. Notice the high pressure system that is moving off the into the Gulf of Maine. And as a result, we're going to continue on with this east to southeasterly fetch off the Atlantic. And as a result, we have plenty of low and mid-level moisture moving into the northern mid-Atlantic from the Atlantic Ocean. As a result, look for scattered showers on and off, again from Sunday, Monday. Well, what about Tuesday? Let's take a look. Yep, looks like Tuesday as well. Now, because this upper level low is going to take its time to move out of the eastern United States, the same threats will continue. Notice that, again, this upper level low is going to lift up towards the St. Lawrence River Valley. Again, I'm going to adjust this a little bit further east to move more towards Buffalo, New York, and Syracuse, New York, rather than towards Toronto, Canada. And as a result, I'm going to shift the lifting a little bit further east as well. So our low pressure system lifts to the northeast. This is what you call a lake cutter, by the way, because the low pressure system is developing over the plains and over the Mississippi River Valley and cuts up towards the Great Lakes. Whether that's the St. Lawrence River Valley or towards Syracuse, still the same result for the East Coast, and that is that warm, moist air from the Atlantic is going to be able to push into the northern mid-Atlantic. And so on Tuesday, again, we have another threat of scattered showers throughout the day on Tuesday. So right now the forecast is looking rather wet from Sunday on through Tuesday. Not a complete washout, but every day there's going to be a threat of scattered showers, broken to overcast skies, also temperatures remaining around 70 degrees because of a more marine influence into the atmosphere. So overall, not expecting a very good start to the week next week. Thank you for using NYNJPA weather as your weather source for the northern mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent afternoon.